Yay. All right. You ready? Is that okay? Okay. Distance, speed, and time. Now, some of you who are in STEM, you kind of already did this. So it should be a review. I just see the first period say, oh, Miss Molly, I did this in Alex. Yay. We're going to first talk about distance. How do I measure distance? What units, Ethan, would I be using if I want to measure distance? What units with distance? Can I use hours? Can I use seconds? Can I use that for distance? What are my units for distance? Feet. Good. What other units do I use for distance? Inches. What else? Miles. What did I hear over here? Centimeters. What else? Oh, look, we're writing this down. It's so amazing. Oh my gosh. So amazing. Millimeters, right? We can measure how far did the snail crawl, or not cross. How far did the snail crawl in a minute? Probably millimeters, right? Does anybody know, instead of miles, what other countries use? They don't use miles. What do they use in like other countries? Huh? Yes. Kilometers. Every other country uses kilometers instead of miles. Go run a kilometer. Okay. Now, when you're reading a word problem, if you read the words, how far did Johnny travel? So Brandon, when we read the words how far, we are going to be solving for distance. Okay? So look, right? How far, put it in quotes, put some dots on the back. When you read that on a word problem, you're solving for distance. Okay? Now, the next one we're going to talk about is speed. Yes, there's so much more that we haven't added to our distance. You can add it to yours. Speed. How do I measure speed? How do they measure speed on the freeway? Miles per hour. Very good. So we're going to write that down. Miles per hour. Does anybody know how we abbreviate that? Yeah, MPH. So when you read MPH, it stands for miles per hour for the most part. How would they measure speed in another country? Instead of miles per hour, what would they use? They would use kilometers per hour. The K stands for kilometers. Okay? We can use centimeters per minute, inches per second. I mean, just forever. Okay, does anybody know how would the question start with for speed? For distance, it says how far. What would it be for speed? Does anybody have an idea? What would be how fast? So when you read how fast was Josue riding his bike? Oh, he was riding his bike at 3 miles per hour. Wow. Whoa, slow it down. So when you read how fast, put it in quotes, you're talking about speed. Okay, last one is time. How do we measure time?
Like the clock right there?
Well, that's what we use. We didn't write ruler for distance, did we? We didn't write ruler. So how do you measure time? What are units for time? Hours. Minutes. Seconds. What else? What other units Look at how we're writing this down. It's fabulous. Fabulous. What other units do we use? Days. Years. Months. Weeks. Decades. Centuries, right? Things like that. Sorry, that says weeks. Okay. This is the hard one. What would be the question? How would the question start for time? How long? Dot, dot, dot. But, unfortunately, you wrote this down, this part? Because when you're doing word problems tonight for homework or tomorrow night, it's these words that you're looking for. How fast, how long, how far. Unfortunately, when students read how long, they think it's distance. But it's not. It's time. How long does it take you to walk home? Oh, it takes me 5 minutes to walk home because I live across the street. Oh, it takes me 20 minutes to walk home because I live, over there by closer to Bristol. It's like, oh, wow, you live far. Okay, are we ready? So this is the good page to use when you're doing your homework. I'm not sure if it's on tonight's homework, though. What am I looking for? Am I looking for time, speed, distance? All right, let's do a word problem. By a word problem, I mean 20 word problems. All right, here we go. Do I gotta go slower? I gotta slow it down? Okay.
Don't go slow.
All right. Miss Lamelli traveled 5 hours in her super cool car if her average speed was, if you want to sit over there, you can, Salvador, 65 miles per hour, comma, how far did she travel? All right, give you guys a couple more seconds to finish writing that down while I write down a note. Okay. Did we finish? Okay. The first thing you have to do is, what are you solving for? Are you solving for distance, speed, or time? Read the question. Here's the question mark. Oh. How far did she travel?
Distance.
So I'm going to box that in, and that is my distance. Okay? What does the 5 hours stand for?
Time.
So I'm going to put a T for 5 hours because that's my time. What does 65 miles per hour stand for?
Speed.
Represent. Speed. So 5 hours is my time. 65 miles per hour is my speed. And I'm solving for distance. All right. Now how do I solve for distance? That's where our trusty handy-dandy triangle. Okay, we're going to focus on this triangle. I'm going to teach you how to use the triangle. Now, what are you solving for? Distance, the D. So what you do is your triangle. You are only going to cover the letter that you're solving for. So I'm solving for distance, so I'm going to cover up the distance. So I cover up the distance. Everything else is shown. What is left over? What is left over when I just cover up the D? Speed dot time, right? So when I cover up here with my handy dandy triangle, I cover up the D. I'm left with speed times time. So I'm going to write that down. Speed times time. So your triangle tells you the formula. Cover up the distance. I'm left with speed times time. All right. What's my speed? 65 times, what's my time? 5. So what do I have to do with these two numbers? Multiply. All right, so everybody right now, multiply these right here on the side. We're multiplying these two numbers right now. Let's go. See how we're falling behind? We're not actually doing the math because you're behind. Let's go. What is 65 times 5?
325 miles per hour.
It's distance.
Miles.
So our distance is equal to 325 miles. That's it. Don't be putting miles per hour because that is speed, and that's mistakes kids do. They'll keep adding units. It's like, no, if it's distance, we just measure it as inches, feet, meters, kilometers, whatever it is. In this case, because it says miles per hour, our distance is 325 miles, period. Okay? We're good? Understood? Yes, Miss Sonali. Okay, cool, yeah. Totally believe you. Okay. John ran a total of 15 miles over the weekend. If his average speed is 3 miles per hour, how long did it take him to run this distance? Dude, either you copy this down now or do your nutrition. I know you don't feel well, but it's like now or later. It's cool. I mean, you know, it's cool. Okay. What are you solving for?
Time.
What tells you time?
How long?
How long? But like, what if you're like sitting there going like, I don't know what I'm solving for. I have no idea. Look for the numbers. 15 miles. So what does that mean? 15 miles. So this means distance. So obviously you're not solving for distance because it's right there. What's my other number? 3 miles per hour. So what is 3 miles per hour?
Speed.
This is speed. So therefore, if I have distance and I have speed, I'm missing time. So that's another way of doing this. If you're like, I don't know what I'm solving for, go back and look at the other numbers. So, T equals, take your triangle. What letter am I going to cover up?
T.
T.
D times this.
So, what is left over? D. What does this line mean? Divided by S. So, D divided by S. Cover up the T. What am I left with? Oh, look how we're using our triangle. It's in our hand right now. So, the more you use it, the more you'll understand it, hopefully. So I cover up the T. I'm left with D over S. So you're going to be using this for homework tonight in class. Don't be afraid. All right. What's my distance again? 15. What's my speed? 3 miles per hour. All right. So what do I do with these two numbers? What? Divide.
Yeah. Because there's a line.
Seriously. What's 15 divided by 3?
5.
5. So the math isn't hard. But where do kids make a mistake?
On the miles.
On the units. So it's time. So what units will I use?
Miles per hour.
Time. We get out in 20 miles. Can I say that? Or are we leaving in 20 miles?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. What are my units? Minutes,
Minutes.
right? Can I use miles for time?
No.
No. That's the number one mistake kids do. They'll use the wrong units. Okay, so 5 hours. If you don't know, it's what units they use, right? I can't say miles because we're not going to nutrition in 20 miles. We're going to nutrition in 20 minutes. Don't quote me on that.
Why?
It's a lie. All right, ready? Here we go. One more problem in our notebook. Sammy Okay, Sammy traveled a total distance of 635 miles in 8 hours. Oh my God, we're writing this down, right? We're writing this down, everybody. Word for word, period, capital letters. Okay, I'm not done. What do you think I'm going to ask you? How fast? How fast was Sammy going? All right. Yay, everybody is writing. So how fast? What is that? Now, what if you didn't know with speed? Well, look at your other numbers. What does 8 hours represent?
Time.
That means time. What does 635 miles represent? Distance, right? So I'm giving you the distance. I'm giving you the time. So therefore, you're solving for speed. The S. So we have our triangle. What letter am I going to cover up? The S. So I cover it up. What am I left with? Yep, write it down. So I'm solving for S. So I'm going to put S equals. So I cover up the S. What am I left with? D over T. D over T. All right. So what's my distance? 635 miles over, what's my time? 8 hours. Okay. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to divide 635 divided by 8. It is a decimal, but it's not a very hard decimal. It will end after the third number. It's a terminating decimal, which means it ends. Just going to give you 30-second head start on how to divide this. You go. Divide. How many times is 8 going to 6? How many times is 8 going to 63? go into 63 7 times? 56. Let's see. 3, 7. Bring down the 5. How many times 8 go into 75? 9. That gives me 72. Remainder 3. Add a decimal. Bring it down. 8 goes into 33. That gives me 24. Remainder 6. 0. 7. 56. Remainder 45. Told you it would end. Don't be scared of dividing. Don't be scared of decimals. Okay. Now, so let's round to 79. 79 what? Again, the hardest part, it's the units. Kids always get this wrong. Let's not get it wrong. What are my units for speed? What is it? How do you know it's miles per hour? You are correct. How did you know that?
Because it's speed.
But why isn't it kilometers per day? Why isn't it centimeters per second? Why is it miles per hour? Specifically, why is it miles per hour? Where do you get the miles? Where do you get the hours? Donde? The problem. Miles per hour. It's right in here. Miles per hour. The bar means per. Miles per hour. It's in there. It's right in front of you. Miles per hour. So this part right here goes right there. All right.